In this section, you will learn about different types of boilers.
Fire tube boilers get their name from the fact that they route hot combustion gases through steel tubes. The tubes run through a shell filled with water. Fire tube boilers vary in design, but they all have some similar components and operate in basically the same way. This one is typical in that it has a tubular combustion area and a group of horizontal fire tubes that route the flow of combustion gases through the boiler. The outlet for the gases is here. It also has a feed water line and a steam outlet line. Let's take a look at how it works. Water enters the boiler through the feed water line. The water level is maintained above the fire tubes because there has to be enough water surrounding them to protect them from overheating. Fuel and air enter here. The fuel burned in the combustion area transfers some heat to the water in the shell. The hot gases are then routed back through the fire tubes, and additional heat is transferred to the water surrounding them. Now, each time the gases are routed through the shell, it's called a pass. Since the gases pass through the shell 2 times in this example, it's called a 2-pass boiler. The combustion gases flow out of the boiler here. The steam collects and builds up pressure here above the water level. From here, the steam is routed through the outlet and into the plant. Well, that should give you a basic idea of how fire tube boilers are set up and how they operate. By the way, fire tube boilers vary in the number of passes they have. There can be 2, 3, or 4-pass boilers. The basic difference between fire tube and water tube boilers is that water tube boilers use tubes to transport water and steam. The combustion gases flow past the outside surfaces of the tubes. Actually, it's the reverse of the fire tube boilers we've just been talking about. Again, you should bear in mind that water tube boilers vary in design, but they all operate pretty much the same way. So, even if the boiler we use as an example differs somewhat from the ones used in your plant, their operating principles will be very similar. We've simplified this boiler so we can point out the major components in a water tube boiler, and we've cut away half of it so you can see more clearly how it operates. This particular boiler consists of a series of water tubes and 2 drums. The basic function of the drums is to distribute water to the water tubes. However, each drum has additional functions that will be covered later on in your training. The water tubes connect the 2 drums and form a wall around the combustion area of the boiler. This is the area in which steam is generated. Water is fed into the upper drum through a feed water line. The water tubes in the lower drum are completely filled with water. The upper drum is only filled to a certain level to provide space for steam to collect and build up pressure. As fuel is burned in the combustion area, heat is transferred to the adjacent water tubes. Then the combustion gases flow out of the boiler. Water circulates from the upper drum through these water tubes and into the lower drum. From the lower drum, the water is distributed to the water tubes surrounding the combustion area. We'll discuss how water circulates through the boiler in more detail later on in the program. As the water in these tubes is heated, a steam-water mixture is produced. The steam-water mixture enters the upper drum. There, the steam is separated from the water and routed through the steam outlet and into the plant.